The Moroccans are a fiercely proud race, proud of their lineage and proud of their independence. But then, it's quite natural, given the fact that the Moroccans had to secure their freedom after many hard-fought and bloody battles. On the Independence Day, Morocco sees an absolute outpouring of joy and celebration. But first, let me mention that Moroccans have always felt rich with the diversity of civilizations through all the centuries have passed. We are truly proud of all the powerful tribes that ruled Morocco, from Al-Idrisiyin, Al-Murabitin, Al-Muwahidin, Al-Mariniyin, Al-Sa'diyin, and Alawiyin. History. History will always recall the power of Sa'dians, who stopped the Ottoman expansion and eventually who fought Portuguese in South, till the death of King Ahmed in the early 17th century. The Sa'dians' power fell apart and allowed the Alawis to take control under the Sultan Moulay Ismail. Indeed, the Alawis kept control for over 2 centuries, but during the 19th century, Morocco became increasingly dependent on France. In 1912, Morocco has become officially a Franco-Spanish protectorate, but with the Alawi Sultan chosen by the French. Geographically, the French controlled the central and southern areas, while the Spanish occupied the north. Tangiers was an international zone and Rabat the capital. During this time, the Franco-Spanish influence resulted in roads, railways, and schools, and many towns were built beside the old. But the Second World War has played a big role of destruction and weakened the position of France, while there were a strong resistance movement for independence. The French exiled the Sultan Muhammad V to Corsica, but it only succeeded in strengthening the independence movements from north to south. Eventually, the French had to bring back Muhammad V and was crowned as a king again in 1956 when the independence was declared. Overall, we have not forgotten the sacrifices of our heroes, from men to women and children, who were injured and killed during the demonstrations and peaceful protests from Tangiers to Moroccan Sahara. Today is an occasion to hail and honor the efforts and sacrifices of the Moroccan people in order to achieve the independence of the country and subsequently to place it among the democratic, modern, moderate, and open countries. Happy Independence Day, Morocco! The Sahara. Sahara is a Moroccan land across generations from father to son, and we cannot deny what has been historically confirmed. The Sahara is a Moroccan territory, and the entire world will eventually have to admit this truth, because historical facts prove it, and a right remains a right even if injustice attempts to trample it. When Morocco received its independence in 1956, the decolonization procedure with France and Spain took a different process. From France, Morocco recovered all territories which were under the protectorate in 1956. The process this time was different with Spain, since the territories under its protectorate were distributed between the north, the center, and the south. Recovery was achieved gradually. The north and Tangier in April 1956, Tantan and Tarfaya in 1958, Sidi Ifni in 1969, and Sahara in 1975. The latter was recovered after the Green March, which constituted a symbiosis between the Alawi throne, the Sahrawi populations, and all Moroccan people. However, few rebellions declared their unsatisfaction with the power division around the region, while our fellow neighbors were more eager to intervene with this internal issue. Eventually, these rebellions were dragged to Tindouf, where Algeria created camps for them under poor promises and poor conditions. People who sympathize with the Polisario today often claim that Morocco is illegally occupying the Sahara since 1975. They claim that Polisario is fighting for their independence and that Algeria supports the Polisario because the principle of self-determination is one of the tenets of its foreign policy. The truth is far away from these claims. The Polisario is a pure creation of Algeria, and without Algeria's substantial financial, political, and diplomatic support, it wouldn't have come into being in the first place. Moreover, to say that a country is under occupation implies the existence of that country before it was occupied by any foreign country. Yet, the Sahara had never existed as a country, but has always been part of Morocco and part of its people before that period. And since 1957, the only country that laid claim to this territory was Morocco. Today, we say if our borders yesterday reached from Libya to Mauritania, it is ironic today to rip off Morocco from its Sahara. Happy 48th Green March.